This Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time we have a little scene going on. This is going to be a posing review. Posing reviews, I don't do them too often anymore, but I definitely hope to keep, trying to do them whenever I can, and hopefully do them a little more often than I do now. So yeah, so this I did to kind of celebrate the release of Avengers 2, which is why I am posting this on Friday, or at least I hope I'm posting this on Friday, May 1st, to celebrate the release of Age of Ultron. So yeah, so I want to do this type of thing. I want to do some big fight that obviously had Marvel movie characters in it, and then I went back and forth about who could be in the fight, and then I did settle on just the Avengers plus some of their sidekicks versus Hydra. I did consider doing a more Iron Man specified one with drones and the Jatari and stuff, but I did settle on Hydra because I had a lot of Hydra soldiers, and they're pretty well articulated, and there's some different types of Hydra soldiers as well, so it makes it a little bit more interesting too. So the heroes that I chose to use, obviously I am using the core Avengers: Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and Hulk, but then I am also using their sidekicks, which is War Machine, Falcon, and then two of the Warriors 3 being Volstagg and Hogan. So yeah, let's just go over the pose. I'm going to, take it handheld and show you the little scenes that we have going on here. Alright, so the first one of the first ones that I developed before I 100% knew what I was going to do is Captain America here. I've got him leaping forward. I do have him on a base there. He's the only one that's on a base. I really wanted to get some actual practical stances and not heavily rely on like strings or any sorts of tools. I really wanted to try to get it as posed and able to stand in that pose as possible. So I've got Captain America throwing his shield. As you can see, the shield is hitting the Hydra soldier. Get some good angles of it. I do have a rubber band holding that in place, otherwise that just would not stick like that. So yeah, it is like quite a bit off of his body too. It's not just like flat on him. Some of these poses make it look that way, but that's not the case. See if I can get you. There you go. Be a good look at it. There you go. Alright, and then next up, probably one of my least favorite poses is just Hogan grabbing onto the back of a Hydra soldier. As you can see, my original plan was to have the full Warriors 3 in this, and I got a great pose for Volstagg, and then I struggled with coming up with a pose for Hogan, or for Fandral, so I just decided to just take him out of the pose, but I did, was able to get him to, hang on the back of a Hydra soldier, so I thought, why not just leave that one in? So there you go. We've got a dead, or maybe this was just like a trank arrow there, obviously shot by the guy in the back, which is Hawkeye. See if I can get it to close enough on. There you go. I wanted him quite a bit far from the Hydra soldier so that, at first you kind of just see the dead Hydra soldier on the ground, so obviously you'd see an arrow on him, so you go, oh wait, where's Hawkeye, and then kind of see him a little bit further back. One of the funnier poses I have in here is this one. I do like this one a lot. This is a Hydra soldier who's being dragged to Thor, as Thor is commanding Mjolnir, his hammer, to come back, and the strings just around his neck, so it's just dragging him across the floor, and it's gonna, until he grabs the hammer. So I thought that was a pretty neat idea, because what actually happened was, I set this entire thing up, I got all the poses down, and then I went, I'm missing Thor, so I had to add him really quick. And yeah, I do have Thor just here about to face off with Red Skull. I typically, when I do like a big pose like this, I typically like it if the main villain and somewhat of the main hero are just kind of standing there in the middle and not so much in a huge pose while the entire fight scene is happening around them. I'm just gonna pause it really quick to recharge the camera. Alright, I'm back, and so now to talk about this pose right here, we've got the War Machine versus just a regular Hydra soldier. As you can see, just had War Machine here, just standing pretty calmly, but just, grabbing the Hydra Soldier by the neck and lifting him up completely off the ground. This was obviously a pose I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it just, with the actual figure, so I did use a rubber band in order to get the Hydra Soldier to stay on his arm. It's a bit obtrusive, and it's definitely annoying, but I do like the pose enough that I thought it was definitely worth it. I think it looks pretty cool. And then I love the fact that the big Gatling gun on his shoulder there is just pointed directly at his head, like, just like an inch away from his face, I just think it would be pretty funny if he picked him up like this while the gun was, in its stationary position just on his back, and then it just flips up and it's like an inch from his face, I think that would be a pretty great scene there, so thought that would be funny to include. We've got Hulk just smashing Hydra Soldier into the ground. Unfortunately, that Hulk isn't super articulated, but it is the only movie 3 3/4-inch Hulk that we have, so I had to make do with it, although I would have much preferred a different Hulk to use to get a better range of motion, but there we go. So we have Hawkeye there, swinging it back down here. We have Black Widow. I obviously wanted her in some acrobatic type of stance, considering that's the type of character that she is. So I put her on his back, with his with her leg kind of wrapped around one of the Hydra Soldier's arms, and then her other leg wrapped around his head there, about to kind of jump off him and like break his neck or just knock him out, but at the same time also not even paying attention to the one that she's fighting, but has a gun here about to assist Tony in shooting a Hydra Soldier. My original plan was to do this pose and then have just another Hydra Soldier just being shot by her, but I actually ran out of Hydra Soldiers, and I have a ton. I've got like 9 here, and I do have some more in package, but I didn't want to open those obviously, so I had to make do with this, so I just have her pointing the gun at this Hydra Soldier. Here's Iron Man. This is the last pose that I came up with, and as you can see, looking very cool. I didn't want to do something stereotypical with an Iron Man figure, like having him repulse or blast somebody, or even just a simple punch, or punching up in the air. I wanted something kind of unique, so I've got him in picking up a Hydra Soldier and about to throw him across the room, or do a Bane back break, So this was one that I was surprised, when I came up with the idea, I thought, I'll give it a shot, but I don't know if this is going to work. And it actually worked perfectly. I don't have any rubber bands or anything holding the Hydra Soldier to his hands, and I did not want I didn't want to use Iron Man's head as a support on the Hydra Soldier's back. I just wanted him to be holding the Hydra Soldier with his arms, and I was able to achieve that. I'm pretty surprised. And then it was incredibly easy to get them to, once I had Iron Man holding the Hydra Soldier, I thought getting him to stand now would be terribly difficult, and actually it stood right away. I didn't have to adjust his legs at all. It seemed to work pretty perfectly, so I was very happy about that. Then we have, this was one that, I definitely wanted Falcon in this pose, but considering that Falcon is somewhat lacking on articulation, and he's obviously got to be flying, I thought that this is going to be a hard one to do. Luckily, it came out pretty good. As you can see, I do have him lifted completely above the ground there, and I've just got him swooshing by and just knocking this Hydra Soldier down as he is flying by there. Obviously using a rubber band to get him to stick to the Hydra Soldier, but the rubber band is relatively hidden compared to like the War Machine one there, so I am pretty happy with that. And my favorite pose is actually with Volstagg. We've got Volstagg here. He's got his axe, kind of choking the Hydra Soldier with it, and the Hydra Soldier is completely off the ground. I was really impressed that I could do this. It was really easy to do, actually, but it's amazing they are, I'm not using anything to connect the Hydra Soldier to Volstagg, and I'm not, leaning Volstagg on a wall or anything. He's completely standing up properly, and they're just looking awesome. I love that pose. It's so simple, and it's with a character that doesn't get much love, so at least in the movies. So it was cool to give him an awesome pose compared to some of the others. So yeah, so there's the big fight scene. At the time that I'm posting this, I will have already seen Age of Ultron, and I cannot wait to see that movie. So this is my just little celebration video for the release of Age of Ultron. So yeah, so just a little pose there with the Avengers, plus some sidekicks, just kicking some Hydra ass. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching.